So here's my copy I got from a couple weeks back during my comic garage con. Been looking for a copy of this for a while, and glad to got this from my fellow IG comic fam, the Alameda Merchant. So Amazing Spider-Man versus Superman. This is the first, I think this is the first DC versus Marvel book ever published. And as you can see, there's this cool letters from both Stan Lee and Carmine Infantino. These are both, at the time, editors of both respective publishing companies. And the first spread, and this is all done by Ross Andru. Now, I wasn't really familiar with Ross Andru when I was collecting comic books in the 80s, so not until years ago I realized like this is the inspiration of Frank Miller. When he was reading comics in the 70s, he actually looked up to Ross Andru as inspiration. So as we flip through it, you can see his quality of work is really good. His line work and also storyboard work is excellent. And this was written by Jerry Conway. So here's the first spread. The spine is one of the things that's really hard to keep in good condition. As you can see, this is in great condition. It's not breaking in the seams at all, and staples are in place. A lot of times this glue will come apart on these large Treasury edition books. So I did get a chance to read it. It's for the first time I read this, and it was awesome. Just you appreciate the sheer amount of work to collaborate and write this and illustrate this book. And these spreads just look so beautiful. It's hard to tell in a video, but during a full spread, reading this is it's pretty amazing. The illustration that Ross Andru got to do. I'm trying to do a close-up of this, but it's hard to do. So the book is broken up into like little prologues. First, it'll go over Superman, then Spider-Man. It'll set up the story of Doc Ock and Lex Luthor as the two antagonists for the story of both heroes. And here he is fighting this robot, and he's trying to figure out how to defeat him. And here is a robot here. So here's the robot. Superman figures out a way to go underneath the robot, try to take him out, and uses his instinct of just actually pushing him down, because he's using some kind of special weight ability to downforce on Superman, so he's getting crushed. So he decides to use that against him, kind of like a kung fu style, using against his opponent. And then you get here a shot of him going to work as Clark Kent. And, you know, this is a cool page. And he takes out Lex Luthor in his special layer underwater. Uses these lasers that kind of thinks like he can take out Superman with the lasers, but he breaks free from them. But he does get hit in the eyes with one of the lasers, and it kind of knocks him out. And some of the caricature work of Ross Andru is just really cool. Really great work. I can see why Frank Miller looked up to this guy. This is a really cool spread. Just this introduction of Spider-Man right here. Check this out. It's hard to tell in the video, like I was saying, but it's a huge spread, and to appreciate it, it's pretty cool. You know, you're normally reading books that are smaller, right? Easy to store, but getting a Treasury edition, it really is like a sight to really just kind of soak it in, all the line work. and attention to composition and storyboarding. It's pretty cool reading a comic this way. And here's this interesting thing here. Behold the flying octopus. I don't know if this is the first appearance of this so-called flying octopus that Doc Ock created, and if this is the only appearance, I'm not sure. I'd have to get my friends to make a comment here, chime in if this has appeared in another comic. And here's this funny thing. Peter Parker is pretty confident that he's got great shots from his tussle with Dr. Octopus, but it turns out when they develop it and publish it, the best photo is just really crappy, off-center, not even taking anything in composition-wise for the head photo and the head front page, and he gets pissed off at Peter Parker. And Peter Parker sees like a blimp in the sky, and it turns out to be Dr. Octopus. And then again, like the criminal goes down, and it cuts to intro to a little backstory of the hero. They call it a pause for a hero identification. Then it goes into a third prologue. Luthor meets Doc Ock, and this is where they kind of hatch a scheme together. Luthor has this special tools to get out of the prison, and it was under his skin, fake skin. And this is a funny scene right here. Check this out. Doc Ock just riding on top of Doc Ock. I mean, Lex Luthor riding on top of Doc Ock, just getting out of prison. It's pretty hilarious. And they go to the little prologue of both villains real quick. So then here it is, chapter 1. They get into the actual story. That was all prep work. Here's Peter Parker running into J. Jonah. And he's stressing out over J. Jonah. That kind of sets up the next reason why they just set up the storyline. And they're at this special convention, and you'll see these two guys crossing paths. And Lois Lane is flirting with Peter Parker in these next panels. It was pretty funny. And Mary Jane's like, who in the hell is this chick? And then here comes supposedly Superman, but nope, it's a hoax. So it looks like he takes both Lois Lane and Mary Jane out, but it's a trap. And here they go. They go to change, and they both meet each other up on top of the roof. So here he is using his power of speed and the sound barrier, breaking the sound barrier. It nullifies the large 200-mile long wave, 1 mile high. And they defeat their whole plan. And here's the epilogue to it, and they just kind of like part ways, and they did their good job and all that. They realized like, hey, how'd you get there? How'd you get photos? And they're kind of like, oh, I don't know. I was there, and I got some great shots of it, and that's kind of like how it ends. And then at the back of the back cover interior, you see like how the pencils first started with Carmine Infantino working on it, these rough drafts. And then there's the preliminary sketch that he did, but the finished cover was taken over by Ross Andrews. So the sketching and play layouts were worked on by Infantino, and with approval by Stan Lee, signed off like this is a better cover. It's got to have equal parts. It can't have one dominating character, so and this is not enough. So you can see the progression of trying to have equal billing of each character, and eventually they landed on this, and Ross Andrew just took it, took it home. So there you go. This is I can probably press a lot of this stuff out, but it's just so cool having this copy finally. Such an epic book. I wonder if they make Mylars for these, because I'm curious. I wanted to get a Mylar cover for this, but I doubt they do. I don't think they do. You can only get regular poly bags for these, such large Treasury. I do have a poly bag. That's what I got with it, but I was curious if anyone knows if there's Mylars for these, because that'll be a better way to present this. I'd rather keep my stuff raw, so if there's a Mylar to store this, that'll be great.